So we're going to talk about sizing the direct harness here. So the direct harness, again, is our no pull, no escape harness. You can identify that one by this ring is on the chest plate of the harness here. So this is the top and this is the bottom. The thing we're going to talk about is how to adjust the neck size. So you can see here this. Let's say I want to make this smaller. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to turn the harness over. This is the bottom section of the harness. You want to identify where this buckle is. So this buckle represents where we're going to do most of our adjustment, or actually all of our adjustment. Behind the buckle, right here, you can see where my finger is going. There's a pocket right in here. It's right behind the buckle. And there's a bunch of excess webbing stored there. So you can see that right there. You can see that webbing stored in this pocket right behind the buckle. And then we should have a ton of room in there for excess webbing. This buckle is how we are going to make the neck larger and smaller. Okay, so let's say we want to make the neck smaller. How are we going to do that? So on this excess webbing end, you're going to find an end that has a bar tack or a sew on the end, and you're going to see this little kind of folded over edge that's sewn. So that's the end of the webbing. We're going to want to make this piece of webbing longer if you want the neck to get smaller. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to identify where the buckle is right here. I want to get this piece longer. So I'm going to push through here to make some slack. So I'm making a ton of slack. I've got this loop here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull on the inner loop. So you're going to be able to see here, I've got this outer loop and then I've got an inner loop here. And I want to pull on this inner loop. And I'm making another loop inside here. So you got this outer loop here and this inner loop here. And what I want to do is I want to pull on this end where there's a bunch of slack. So I'm going to pull on this to pull all this slack out like this. Okay, then you can follow this around. This is the inner loop. And I'm going to take that slack up through this side of the buckle like that. I'm going to pull that all the way through on this end here. So now I've got this really long webbing tail. What I can do is fold this up. So I've got that, and now I can stuff it in this pocket right here. So I just push it in that pocket right there. You can see right there. So now you can see on that end right there, I hope. There, I've got all this excess webbing and I've got it stuffed in the pocket behind there. Now, if you have trouble stuffing in the pocket, like we have some of these small, this is a large, so the pocket's a little bit bigger, but on some of the smaller ones, the pocket might be a little bit tougher to get in there. So you can take that webbing and you can take like a screwdriver, a end of a pencil or something, and just help you kind of push it in there. So you can see now that the neck size is much smaller. So what I do then to adjust everything is I pull this ring, close the neck, and kind of pull it back open and make sure that it's kind of even on both sides. I want this side and this side to be even in terms of the length.